Hello and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Frank Trinkle. I'm also known as Elf Chef. I am a professional chef and I do some regular teaching and I also cater. But I've been cooking in my kitchen for quite some time, and with the things that are going on lately, like the economy, which inflation and food prices are going through the roof, we have had the pandemic as well as other things. A lot of people are just not eating out anymore. They're cooking more and more at home. That's not a problem at all, except that most people that cook at home regularly have a rather limited repertoire of recipes that they feel very comfortable doing and making meals really, really well. Others do really fine and great. But most people hate the drudgery of having to use massive bunches of pots and pans and various different appliances and other things to make a single meal. And today, I am here to introduce you to a kitchen appliance that does more than anything you've ever seen in the past. It is the most incredible, amazing appliance on the planet. And it's now available in the United States after having had many years in Europe and then in Australia. But it's here now for us, and it's called the Thermomix. And the latest version of the Thermomix is called the TM6, and I'm going to introduce you to it right now. So what I'd like to do is just send you over here to the webpage the primary webpage for Thermomix, and give you a quick overview before I actually show you the various different parts and pieces. And then I'm going to cook for you in it. And it's phenomenal. It just is absolutely fantastic. I'm a professional cook, and I use the Thermomix all the time. It is that good. So this is what you see there is the Thermomix. Right here we see the actual front of the machine, just a few of the things it can do. And it basically makes meals from all over the world. And I'm going to talk about the recipe capability in just a second. But the main thing is that this is a major time saver. You can create meals much faster than you can with traditional cooking methods with pots and pans and ovens and other things, as well as having the ability to make meals, like I said, from all over the world with guided cooking. And that is the key phrase in this with this appliance. Everything is guided cooking. It's going to tell you what you need, when you need it, how much to use, without using scales, without having to measure out most things, and like even maybe a teaspoon here and there. But there's scales on the system, and it's all runs just as well as you can imagine. It's better than anything else you've ever imagined. So it's also connected convenience, which means this machine is connected to your Wi-Fi at home. It does everything by Wi-Fi. It pulls down the menus, basically the latest menus, by Wi-Fi. It actually interacts with your Wi-Fi all the time. It updates itself. If you turn it on and it says an update is happening, it means that there's new firmware or something new in the system. It's incredible. The mealtime manager, it allows you to set up weekly, daily, monthly recipes and meals in well ahead of planning for your shopping and everything else. And basically it allows you to make a meal at almost any time, whatever you need to make. It is an incredible machine. So I'd like to go just a little bit further, because the other part of this machine that is so critical and so incredibly amazing is called Cookie Dough. Cookie Dough is the recipe system that goes along with the Thermomix, and it has almost 80,000 recipes of different products and different types of meals that you can make with this machine. It's absolutely phenomenal. And they update every month. They have new recipes. It's incredible. If you look here they make specials like Night at the Oscars, things to make for parties, pescatarians, gluten-free menus, keto menus, fish, whatever. And some of them are super quick, super easy. Others will get you deeper into some cooking on this thing that can do all kinds of things. And I'm going to show you how this works. So you don't even have to buy the Thermomix to get a 30-day trial look at the Cookie Dough application. And you don't need a credit card. You don't need any follow-on or whatever. Just sign up at Cookidoo, Cookidoo.thermomix, Thermomix.com. And you'll come here and you can sign up for a free account. But I'm going to go ahead and log into my account here. And just to kind of show you the kinds of things that you can do here, it's incredible. So, for example, You can search for any type of meal that you want. If you want, say, let's say that let's say that you have a refrigerator with maybe 2 big heads of cabbage that you thought you were going to use for something else, and you have no idea what to do with them other than maybe make coleslaw. So let's just go to the search function here, and we'll type in cabbage and see what comes up. And we'll enter, and all of these recipes come up that have cabbage either as the main ingredient or as included in a particular menu. I mean, look at this. This is just incredible. Think of something else. You can get on this system and just type in anything that you can think of. Let's say, let's try, I don't know, French fries. Oops, wait a minute, get to the help, or to the, up here to the search. So I'll type in French fries. I have never done this, so I don't know what's going to come up, I'll be honest with you. So let's see. Look at that. French fries, and then other things that are related to French fries or French cooking. It's just it goes on and on and on. Now, this system has these 80,000 recipes. They're all right in the machine directly. When you first open it up, or when you first turn it on, you can go to exactly what you see on your computer is going to be on the primary screen, which I'll show you in just a moment. And that is on the control head, which is this. And if I push this here and go to the home thing, you can see that you've already got, you can save recipes, you can create a weekly schedule, you can go back to your recently cooked. There's a lot of settings that you can set up. And now the latest addition of this machine is the fact that you can also create your own recipes. So if you have a grandmother who made the most fabulous apple cake or apple pie filling in the world, and you have a written recipe, you can actually plug that into this system, and with the exact steps and times to do it in this machine, all automatically, self-guided. And it's absolutely phenomenal. So what I like to do is show you different portions of this machine and what it basically does. So as you look at this, this is kind of facing the side view of the unit. You have a measuring cup on the top that comes out. It actually is the plug for the lid, and it comes out. Then you have, this is the primary lid, and then this doesn't always rise in there, but this is a simmering basket that can, you know, if you're making rice or some other things in the unit, you can make it directly in there. And then, let me go to my overhead. What you have here is the actual, what's called the mixing bowl. It has some very, very high-end blades at the bottom that will do almost anything, as you will see later in this video. It's easy to clean. There's a self-cleaning mode on this system, and it is absolutely fantastic. Now, on top of that, I've showed you that, but on top of that, then you have what's called the Varoma, which is, let me get a couple of these things out of here. I'll talk about those in a second. This is basically so that you can steam cook on top of the machine. So what you have there is the Varoma. It has not just one, but it has the capability for 2 layers and then a lid. So basically you could cook, say, you could steam some vegetables while you're steaming fish, or maybe cooking chicken or something along that line on top of there, and it works unbelievably well. Additionally, this is this unit here. Let me go back to my primary. This is basically a spill cover, so that at times when you're putting that onto the machine, you don't have to put the whole regular lid on there. Then we have this blade guard that goes on top of the blade for things like when you're making soups or stews, or you're doing sous vide, which this machine is capable of. If you're doing a sous vide thing, you don't want a plastic bag basically hanging down those sharp blades, so this goes on top of that. Then you have this little baby here that spins, and of course, obviously, that's for whisking and for, say, making whipped cream and other things like that. But it's all included in the system. That is the primary system, and then on top of that, we have the ability. There's another addition which is separate. It's an accessory. But this is Thermomix's insulated serving bowl, and it will keep foods either hot or cold, depending on what you're putting in it. I have found, as you will see later in this video, that this is the perfect bowl for allowing dough to rise, say over an hour, for making breads or pizza or whatever. This is absolutely fantastic. And then finally, as I said before, we also have their sous vide system. Their sous vide machine is, or their sous vide system is basically plastic bags with an auto pump on it, and it is it can be bought separately, but it is an awesome system. And there's ways to win this actually, to earn it without having to pay for it, and I'll go into that later. But that's the basic overlook of the Thermomix. What I'd like to do now is basically take you on a little tour. Oh, forgot the spatula. Now this spatula is incredible. This is a well-designed spatula, and the reason is because not only can it work as a mixer inside of when things are really doing, but it also will lift out this hot. If this is in the Thermomix and it's hot, it will actually lift out the simmering basket without getting your hands burnt. And when you put it down, you know, if you're using a regular spatula or something and you put it on your counter, it's going to get stuff all over your counter. This is designed so that the front end never actually touches the ground. It's a pretty smart device. So the one other thing I want to tell you about this is that this is precision German engineering. This machine, this appliance is made in Germany, designed in Germany, and supported by German technicians, and customer service here in the States is absolutely phenomenal. It is really the best that there is. So let's go on a little trip here and go to the controls, and I'll show you a little bit about this. So on here, what happens is that if let's say that you're going to do a menu, and I'll just pick something here let's go to my recipes, and we'll go to how about just basic ads. Let's say that we were going to do butternut squash and apple soup that you see there. So you hit that button, and the first thing that comes up is it comes up right out of your Wi-Fi, and you may want to look and see what you're going to need. And what you're going to need is all of these items on the left, and that's going to be the items that are going to be used to make this soup. And then once you have all that registered, and by the way, when you're on the computer doing it on there or on your phone for Cookie Do, you can actually select a grocery list, which means it'll take all the items that are for that particular recipe and then give you a list, so that when you go to the store, even if it's for the weekly shopping, you can have all your recipes that you're planning on doing for the week and have all of the things that you need to have to make those recipes for that week. So on the right side here, you see preparation. And basically, it's going to tell you exactly what the machine is going to tell you to do as you go along. It's going to tell you what to place in there, when to place it, and do those things. And it'll take you right up to the end of it. And every one of the recipes has hints and tricks. So there's ways to, maybe if you want to modify it, it might tell you that if you don't like really heavy spice, reduce the amount of this particular product or whatever. And then there's variations, if there are variations on a particular recipe that might change it just a little bit. So that is really incredible. It's really, really awesome. And then, let me go back to home here. So this is, when you're cooking, this is the main screen that you're going to see. And basically it's going to tell you to do things as you go. So you have time as the first thing here, and that can be adjusted by you. If you need more time, you can actually adjust what it says initially. And then the next one is the actual temperature, which can be set in Fahrenheit or centigrade. So either, whatever you're cooking, that's fine. And then over here is the various different modes that the unit is going to use for a particular process in the middle of a particular recipe. So that's that. And then, so if we go and then this is a touch screen as well. So I'd like to show you all the various things that this machine, are you ready, can do. It's unbelievable. So it has scales. Oh, let me talk about that. So back over here on the front page, this time thing is also a scale. So you have the main unit in here, and when it says add, say 4 ounces of butter or of a liquid, you just can in other words, set it to 0, and then as you pour into the machine, as you pour stuff in or add stuff in, you're going to see the control head here is going to show you exactly how much weight you've put in there, and you'll see that in our cooking demo here in just a little bit. But going back over here, so it has scales. It makes the easiest dough you've ever made in your life with that feature. Turbo is like really fast. I mean, you'll see me do some Parmesan cheese later. You won't believe how easy it is to grate cheeses and things like that. It cleans itself. There's a pre-clean mode, and this pre-clean mode, by the way, has 4 different settings. So depending on what you've cooked and how deeply dirty, not dirty, but messed up. Let's say you cooked chocolate or you melted cheese in it and you didn't wash it out right away. So you've got kind of crusty cheese. You could go all the way down to the browning level or fat and caramel or universal, or if all you've done is dough, it's a quick process. So if you did the universal, it's 8 minutes, and basically it's then rinse it out with just a couple of drops of dish soap in it, wash it out, and it's going to look brand new. So there's that. So let me go back to this. Let me go back to home and here. So and then it has a blending function. It's an egg boiler. It will be a kettle. It can boil water for you. You can do warm-ups of foods that you have already made, maybe refrigerated. You can warm them up in there. You can thicken sauces and thicken other foods in it. It has basically can be used as a rice cooker. For fermenting, all kinds of different fermentations, this is perfect for that. It's a slow cooker. It'll do sous vide, as I mentioned. And there's a new accessory available, I don't have one here, that sits on top of the blades and is a peeler, which means that if you take potatoes and you get tired of doing this peeling nonsense all the time, you'll be able to immediately throw the potato in there, hit that button, and it's going to peel the potato right off the skin. You can do it with other products too, yams, sweet potatoes, apples, whatever, lots of stuff. So that, in a nutshell, is the basic machine. Now, up until just a couple of years ago, this machine was only available in Europe, and then it went into Australia as well. But it really wasn't known or available in the United States. This is a game changer for cooking in a home, and some restaurants are using it too, because it's so easy, so economical, and so efficient at what it does that it changes the whole. The amount of space that you get back in your kitchen by using this machine is unbelievable. The machine itself is actually the size to fit under almost any standard kitchen cabinet, so it doesn't take up any room. It's easy to clean, as I said, and the customer support is phenomenal. Now, I became so impressed with this machine. I got it first, and I test a lot of different machinery. I test a lot of appliances. I test a lot of culinary items and review them. I was so impressed by this that I took advantage of the fact that they are always looking for certified and trained consultants, for Thermomix consultants, independent Thermomix consultants. I am an independent Thermomix consultant now because I have been just totally blown away by this machine. So the way that it works is that the Thermomix company, Vorwerks, which is the parent name, is the 5th largest direct selling company in the world. It's German, and they've come to the States, and now this machine is selling like wildfire all over the United States through independent consultants, Thermomix consultants. You can order the machine directly on Vorwerk's site, but you lose the ability to have a consultant who's not only there before the sale, but then also after, because our job as independent consultants is that if you purchase this particular machine and you have questions, you have problems, you don't understand something, your independent consultant that you work through is always going to be there to assist you in whatever you need to know. We also do cooking experiences before, if you so choose, before an experience. Now, different consultants do them different ways. I personally have the ability with my studios and other things to be able to do a one-on-one or a one with you and your guests. There's a real positive to that. We can cook a meal together online, and I will show you exactly how a meal is cooked, and you can choose the recipe. And the other way is live, either in your home, but for me that means if you live, say, within about 40 or 50 miles of Dayton, Ohio at this particular juncture. But if you should happen to absolutely want a home cooking experience, I can recommend you, or I can refer you to a Thermomix consultant in your area that can give you a live experience as well. So this whole system is made to be as effective and efficient as possible, giving you the very best opportunity to take advantage of what you have in your kitchen, the foods that you want to buy, the prices that you're having to pay for various different products. You can take cheap very inexpensive meats, for example, and turn them into real masterpieces in this machine, whereas if you just did them in a pan, they're going to be kind of bland, tough, whatever. All right, so that is an overlook. I'm going to talk a little bit more at the end of this video after I've done a little cooking. So let's start with some easy stuff, and I'm going to end with basically I'm working my way into a whole meal here, and we'll start in just a few minutes. When I come back, I'll have a few things out here, and we'll get cooking. Hope you enjoyed this so far, and I look forward to seeing you in just a second. Cheers. So that has been an explanation of basically all the different features and showing you a lot of the pieces and components of the Thermomix. It's an awesome machine. But you know, if you're like me, you watch YouTube or Facebook unboxing videos on products for product reviews, and they never actually demonstrate the product. They just take pieces out and show them to you and say, it's got this wire and that thing and this thing. Thank you for watching. That doesn't do anything for me, and I'm sure it doesn't do anything for you. So from here, what we're going to do is we're actually going to do some actual cooks, some actual processing in the Thermomix. I'm not going to make cocktails because I don't know who's watching, but you can make cocktails in the Thermomix. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with something really simple, and then I'm going to do some additional cooks that will be sped up for this video. You'll be able to see the different next that happened with the Thermomix, but I will speed up the actual time so that we can actually put this and combine it and compress it into a reasonable video. So the first thing that we need to do is decide what we're going to cook, and the way that we do that is going to Cookie-Doo with its almost 80,000 recipes from around the world. And you can do that on your computer with the app, you can do it on the phone app, or you can actually do it on the Thermomix itself. It's all the same. But you know, most people, they're sitting in their office or they're out shopping or maybe away from the kitchen or don't want to go to the kitchen, and they want to figure out what the heck they're going to make tonight for dinner or for lunch or whatever. And they have their computer or their phone. So let's talk about how that happens and how easy that is to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to actually go to Thermomix Online, and this is on a computer, and I have searched on there for lemonade, and there was a number of different options to do. And once I got to the lemonades, and I found this homemade lemonade, which has high ratings from people because you can rate the foods, the different recipes on Cookie-Doo. And I said, you know, I want to do that, but I might want to keep that. I don't want to have to search for it every time. So what you can do here is you can click this add button here. And when you click the add button, it gives you these options: bookmark it, add it to a collection, add it to my week, add it to my shopping list, and let's talk about the shopping list. Any recipe that you go to, if you go to this add and go to the shopping list, it will create a shopping list of all the ingredients that are called for in that particular recipe, which is awesome. It makes it so much easier to go to the store or decide whether you're going to actually make that product. Okay, so it says also you can add to created recipes, and now's a good time to talk about the latest upgrade to the Thermomix TM6. In the last month, they have added the ability for people to actually create their own recipes and add them into the recipes that they're keeping on their Thermomix with all of the functions and features and the nexts and the tips and the amounts and everything else. It's awesome, which means that if you have your grandmother's recipes and you want to convert it to the Thermomix, it's a perfect opportunity to do that. And you'll always have it right there on your Thermomix, ready to cook at any time. Okay, so I want to add this, because I'm probably going to use this later, so I'm going to add it to a collection. And I've decided that I want to add it to my demo recipes, because that's what I'm doing today. So I just click add, and it was successfully there. Okay, that's all I need to do with that. So let's go back to our primary here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the Thermomix, and I'm going to show you exactly how you set that up and how you can search and other things on the Thermomix itself. So let me go to, let's see, the controls here. All right, so this is the base controls. When you first turn the machine on, it's going to come up like this. And this little three lines up there, you just click that, and you're going to get to here. You can either do a search using the search like we did, or like you can search for, if you want to make something, you got a whole lot of cabbage in your refrigerator. You got to figure out how to get rid of it before it goes bad. Just type cabbage in there, and it's going to come up with a whole ton of recipes that either use cabbage as the main ingredient or can be used as part of other recipes. All right, so I want to go to my recipes here, and remember I have created collections, and I have my demo recipe there, and there it is. My homemade lemonade is sitting right over there. So I'm going to click that, and we are basically can take a look, just make sure that we still know what we need, make sure we have everything that we're going to need for this recipe sitting right there in the ready to go, and then I'm just going to basically get ready to start cooking. So I'm going to start cooking, and I'm going to switch now to this particular screen. And I want to point out that this says tare here. If you don't know what tare is, basically this unit is also it basically is a scale as well. You don't need a kitchen scale because it's going to measure as you add, as long as you tare. And what tare is that when I take that off, you notice that the weight changed because I just lifted this top off of there. So all I have to do is push tare, and that's going to take back to 0. And it says that I need to add 3.5 ounces of sugar. Well, I just happen to have some sugar here, and I happen to have a scoop. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to add 3.5 ounces of granulated sugar. And you'll notice on the scale there that it is rising. It is measuring as I go. I'm not going to need a whole lot more. I'm going to take just a 3.4 ounces. 1, 2, 3. Whoops, there we go. Okay. And then I hit next. And now it wants me to do something here. All right, we talked about the different components here. Remember that we have the lid and we have a measuring cup. Now the measuring cup is basically, you'll use that sometimes. It's basically 10 milliliters and higher. But when it says measuring cup into the mixing bowl, it means put it into the measuring cup and then you put it on top. Now, when we do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a top view too. That one there. All right, so now you see the top there, and I want you to watch these two items right here that you see my hands on. Because when we actually get ready to go, it's actually going to lock the lid on. So this is a safety feature, which is awesome. There's a lot of safety features on the Thermomix. All right, so you notice that down here it says turn the speed selector to speed 10. So you're just going to roll this knob right up to 10. It's going to stop itself on 10. You just roll it right up, and it's going to be it's going to run. Now I'm probably going to mute as we do this because it can get loud on this little thing here. It'll scream into my microphone. So hang on. All right, so it's gone 10 seconds, and remember we use granulated sugar. I'm going to hit next here so we stop that music. You notice that the top opened up again, and I'm going to show you what's inside there. Look at that. This is granulated sugar now. It's granulated. It's basically powdered sugar. It powdered the sugar. It's really simple. All right, let me go to the table view here, and I'm going to show you what's next here. On here we have 2 simple lemons for this particular recipe. They've been washed really good. I'm just going to cut off the very ends, and I'm going to have them as soon as I do that. This is incredible. And then I'm just going to cut these lemons directly in half and cut them in half. And guess what? I'm just going to toss them in there. It's that simple. All right. So let's go back here, and we're in this view again. So the 2 lemons halved. They're already in the mixing bowl. And now all I have to do is follow directions. So I put those in. I hit next. It says insert the measuring cup into the mixing bowl just like we did before. It's on there and it's ready to rock. Next is going to be doing the. It's going to 2 seconds. It's a few times. It's going to tell us when it's finished. So I'm going to hit next, but again, I'm going to mute because it does get a little loud for a minute. So I'm going to mute. So what's happening in between these is basically it's crushing. Remember, there's a lot of the rind on there, and it's crushing the rind. And each time it stops, it allows the lemons to settle back down to the bottom of the bowl for the next run. So I'll just keep going until it says stop. And there we have it. All right, so now it says add 32 ounces of water. You see the top opened up. So we're going to do that. Let me just get the spatula here. And I'm going to take some of this off of there. Make sure it's back down in the bottom of the bowl. And I'm also, if you can see the top there, what I do with the spatula is knock down the sides so you get a lot of this stuff that's sort of been on the sides due to the intensity of the thing, and you can see down into you can see the pulp and everything down there right now. You can kind of take a look at that, and it's just ready. So I'm going to add 32 ounce. Remember what we do here, we have to tare, and I've got some water here, and I'm ready to add, so I'm just going to start adding until we get to 34 ounces. How easy is that? All right, so now what it wants me to do is it's going to say insert the measuring cup and bowl, or in the lid. So there we go again. Now, watch this very closely because this is really cool. I mean, watch the way that this is so protective of you as the owner and user. So we hit next, and now it does 10 seconds, and it's just going to mix it up. But what happens here, watch. You see that lock up? That lid is completely locked in place, which is awesome. So it's just doing 10 seconds and it's done. Okay, so we go next. It says insert the simmering basket, hold simmering basket lid in place with the spatula and strain the fresh lemonade into a pitcher. So basically what that is that's this. Whoops, wait a minute, that is this item here. There's a couple of ways to do this. You could, if you have a big enough one, you could just do it on top. This thing will kind of, in a large load where you have a little bit of pulp and stuff, it might start sticking. Some people like to just use a regular strainer, which is fine. But just because it is what it is, and we want to make sure that we do this the way that they say, is that we're going to take this and we're going to place it in there, into the bowl itself, and move it around so that it will drain properly. And then we just take this out and we just start, it basically is straining any pulp, any large pulp as it goes. So this is pretty awesome, don't you think? How good does this get? Oops. Now I gotta tell you, I've been talking for a while and I am a little bit parched. So it says then to add 10 ice cubes. It just happens that I have some ice cubes here to add, and I will add those in there, and that will cool it down. And you have fresh made, very fresh made lemonade right here, right now. And I'm just going to take, so you know I'm not trying to poison you or anyone else, I'm going to take a little bit of this. And I'm going to tell you, that is so fresh, so good, and made in less than 5 minutes and perfectly. It's awesome. All right, I'm going to clean up this mess just a little bit, and then I'll be back, and we're going to do a couple of other things. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how easy it is to make dough in this machine. It's incredible. Whether you're making pizza or bread or anything else, buns, whatever, this is the simplest thing that has ever been. Trust me on this. All right, we'll be back in just a minute. I'm going to go ahead and pause, and then I'll be back. Cheers. All right, I'm back, and I'm going to make some pizza dough. This is one of the simplest things that there is with the Thermomix. And yet, the dough that it makes is phenomenally good. It works absolutely perfectly. I make pizzas. I have a 14-year-old son who is one of the pickiest eaters in the world. If it's mac and cheese or fried chicken or pizza, those are his three favorites. So I make pizza pretty regularly in this Thermomix for my son. I'll put a picture in here somewhere maybe of the last one I made for him. I like to do multiple different types of cheese pizzas. He doesn't like mushrooms, so it is what it is, but you can add anything. But I do 5 cheese pizzas for him all the time. And not only am I going to show you how to make dough, but once I have the dough out, I'm actually going to show you how well this thing can actually, I mean, it can do stuff with Parmesan, any hard cheese, it can basically grate almost instantly down to a level where you can use it for all kinds of things. You can get it almost to a powder, but I'll show you that in just a minute. I'm going to use this bowl. You have to have a bowl for the dough to basically be allowed to rise, but this gives me an opportunity to talk about Thermomix's serving bowl. This is a somewhat insulated bowl which can be used used to keep foods hot or cold, depending on what you're doing. But it's also, I've found, a great little bowl to use for allowing dough to rise. I don't use the top on it when it is. I just put a very damp towel over the top. But we're going to make this recipe now. And once again, I want to go and show you exactly what we're doing online. I've gone to Cookie Dough, and this recipe has come up. It is basically pizza dough. And it's going to be a ball, and then you let it rise for about an hour, and then it's ready to roll out and put in the oven. I like using a steel, like a pizza. A lot of people have the pizza stones. I use pizza steel because it really does a really great job. Okay, so what we are going to need here is we need some extra virgin olive oil. We need a little bit of extra to grease the pan, 8 ounces of water at room temperature, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 2 teaspoons of instant dried yeast, which is usually a packet, or fresh yeast if you've been making it yourself, crumbled, and 14 ounces of bread flour. I use pizza flour, which for me is when I mix all-purpose flour with bread flour into a nice mix. It makes for very well, and a teaspoon of salt. All right, so let's get cooking. I'm going to put this into the system. Let me go to. All right, so let's go to the table first. I want to show you how I grease a pan for pizza. I just get a paper towel and fold it over a couple of times. Take my extra virgin olive oil and just a little tiny bit in there, just enough to wet that. And then I just go around in the bowl and do the sides. This will keep the dough from sticking to the sides. It's really easy. This is such a great bowl. I love this thing. I really love it. And then it's just enough to keep the dough from sticking. You're done. That's all finished. So now we're ready to make the dough. So I'll put this aside for a moment, and we'll start getting ready for the other ingredients. Okay, and there it is. So there's a metric one first, and then this one is regular, and this is a TM5 only. The TM5 is an earlier version of the TM6, so they even still have recipes in there of the same things so that you can do that. We're going to use this one. And again, in order to do this right, we're going to need what I just said a minute ago, but we've already done that, so it's been updated recently. So let's go ahead and get this thing cooking. So start cooking. We did that. We lightly greased the bowl, and now it wants 8 ounces of water at room temperature, which I have gotten water to room temperature, and it's just going to be added. Remember what I said about tearing. You got to tear the controls. If you forget, it's the only thing there, so you can empty it and do it again. So we just need 8 ounces of water. Pretty simple stuff. 2 ounces, there we go. That's close enough. We'll add just a hair more of the flour. All right, so the next step is 1 teaspoon of sugar. That goes in the pot. And then we did that. So then the next thing is to add the instant yeast. It just goes in there completely. I suggest just knocking off the top of the blades of the yeast if you load it right on top. And then the next step is going to be insert the measuring cup, and it's on. So now what we want to do is next, and it wants us to spin it up to speed 2 for 20 seconds. It's just going to mix the water and the yeast and the sugar and the salt. So we're almost done. There's our favorite sound. Automatically opens, and we look in there to make sure everything's good to go. And next is 14 ounces of bread flour. So I've got this big bucket of bread flour down here that I use because I mix it up myself in large batches. And I'm just going to start adding flour. And just a hair more. There we go. 14.1. That's actually perfect because remember we had a little bit extra water, but that's all right. Probably the oil. Yep, we want 1 ounce of extra virgin olive oil. So I'm going to add that just really easily here. There we go, 1 ounce. All done there, and then we go next. 1 teaspoon of salt. And they enter the measuring cup with the lid. Next, and it's going to be a 2-minute thing here. So I'm just going to turn the speed cycle to start, and it's going to just automatically start kneading and mixing. Okay, we're done with that now. It says place the dough in the prepared bowl. Okay, so we have our mix bowl here. And what I'm going to do is just wet my hands before I get in there, very briefly. This is amazing. Okay, so if you look at the bottom right there, that is the dough. And just take a look at that dough. I mean, it's like perfect. So coming out, it comes out easy. The stuff comes straight off of the blades without a problem. Very little cleaning required. It's just a nice ball, and it's ready to rise. I'm just take a little piece off there, and you can see that it's perfect dough. It's done absolutely perfectly. No residue on your hands. It's going to sit in this bowl, and it's going to rise for about an hour. I've done this so many times. It's just so easy. I'm going to I'll show you what I do. My preferred method is to take a dish towel like this that's been basically moistened, wet, and then put it over on somewhere where it can sit for an hour. All right, and rise. All right, I'm going to clean this bowl real quick, and then I'm going to be right back. You won't even notice that there's a difference. All right, I'm back, and now we're going to cook something else. We're going to basically cook the main portion of a meal. But before we do, I have to tell you, this is actually the second day that I'm doing this video, at least this portion of the video, because yesterday I made this, which was the lemon rosemary chicken and rice for the video. But I realized after that I did it that I had not had my microphone on, and I had no audio track, and I didn't want to basically just voice over while I'm doing all of it. So I decided just to cook something else like I usually do. I love cooking in this machine, so this gives me another opportunity to do a demo meal. So what I'm going to do for this one now is that I'm going to cook something different, and I'll show you what that is. It is going to be the mushroom risotto. So I've got my arborio rice here and all of the ingredients, these ingredients that all need to be used. And I'm going to do this particular recipe. It's not going to take very long. I'll still try to fast forward through because I know this video is getting somewhat long. So while I'm getting ready here, I'm going to just start by going to my Thermomix, and we're going to take a look at it and see what we have going there. There we go. All right, so I'm immediately going to go home, and I'm going to go to my recipes, and this is what I call my demo recipes. I have never made this before, so you and I are going through this for the first time. So here's my mushroom risotto, and I've already basically gone through here and seen what all the products that I need. The total time is 30 minutes, but with 10 minutes of prep in that. So this is going to be less than 20 minutes, but it's going to be less than that too. All right, so we start with needing 40 grams of Parmesan cheese. And I've got this Parmesan cheese in front of me, which I'm going to open up and cut about 40 grams of it. You saw me do this before, but I used that Parmesan cheese yesterday, so we'll see how much this is. And as I said, we can tear this. So I've got it set to 0, and I'm just going to start dropping in and seeing where we're at. Yeah, it's not going to be very much, is it? All right, that's good. So that's all the Parmesan cheese we need. So let's go to next. 20 grams of fresh parsley. I just happened to have cut this earlier, so I'm just going to add that now to the mix in there. So that's all good. And then next comes insert the measuring cup and to the lid and hit next. And this is going to be very quick, 10 seconds. Here we go. I should probably mute that at times because it does, when it's doing the really hard mixes there, it does get a little bit loud. But okay, so there's my favorite sound. And then we're going to transfer all this to a bowl, the same bowl I just used, and I'm going to use my spatula to kind of get everything down where it's going to come out easily. Let me go here, just get it all ready to go. So it's going to have this nice green Parmesan stuff here. And I really don't have to clean the bowl because all of this is going to be added to the main menu anyway, right? So I'm just going to get as much out of that as I can. And that is ready for the next bit. All right, put that back in. Next is going to be 20 grams of olive oil. So that goes in there, and we're going to tear it. There we go. There's 20 grams, and what's going to be next is 40 grams of onions. Next now on here, and it now says 150 grams of fresh mushrooms. Now, I've already sliced mushrooms. I am a lover of baby Bella mushrooms. I don't particularly like white mushrooms. I think they're kind of cheap. The other thing that I want you to see is that there's no stem in here. I take the stems out, and I've had, this is from long experience, as most chefs will agree, the stems really don't have much flavor. They don't have the flavor of the outer shell. And if you remove the stems, you'll find that you have a much tastier mushroom soups, sauces, additions, even on things like hamburgers. So when you buy sliced mushrooms and they have the stem on them, you know, that's basically to keep the weight up so that they can make more money. That's all about. I've got about 300 here that I already did. So there's 130, 129. There's 146. And take out just a couple because I want to have the equal load. Later, there it is, right at 150, and I will slice up that other mushroom later. What's next? Insert the measuring cups into the mixing bowl. And then 5 seconds at speed 5. That's not going to be too loud. I suppose we can hang on for that. Here we go. All right, I'll show you what this is going to look like as soon as I take the top off. I'm going to scrape down the edge. The tops come off. And I'm just going to go down in there and take this all down to the bottom where it needs to be. Looking good so far, folks. All right, what's next? Getting it done. Insert the measuring cup again. All right, that's going to mix it up again, I guess. And next, I think it's going to saute it. Okay, so this is going to be 3 minutes, and what I'm going to do during this 3-minute thing is I'm going to talk to you a little bit. Okay, as you know, earlier in this video, I talked about using independent consultants. If you choose to buy a Thermomix TM6 before the end of March, there is a special on from the company, and a really, really good one. First of all, anytime you work through an independent consultant, you will get free shipping. If you go directly to the company, you will pay $49 in shipping. So that's one savings. The second savings is that the company is offering until the 31st of March 12 months of 0% financing if you so choose to finance a Thermomix and not pay cash. Of course, it depends a bit on your credit, but nonetheless, it is available to you. The third thing, which is also a $55 savings, is that they are going to add, when you buy a Thermomix, you get 6 months of Cookie Dough subscription. And each year from there on is $55 for the year. However, for until the end of March, if you buy a Thermomix before the end of March, you will get 18 full months of Cookie Dough subscription that will be yours without any further payment. So those are the three big things. The other thing too is that if you host a cooking experience, whether online or in person, in other words, you bring a couple of your friends, a couple of your guests, there are gifts which are going to be available that you can choose from, either free or with deep discounts on some of the accessories or other items that Cookie Dough makes or that Thermomix makes, that will go to you as the host. It's worth it, trust me, to be a host. So if you think you might have some friends that might be interested and you want a cooking experience, I'm happy to do it myself online, or if you're in the Dayton area, in person, or I can refer you to somebody in your area through the company. So those are the kinds of the things that I wanted to get out of the way before we ended today. This is there's all kinds of special things, and I'm going to talk to you about one more opportunity when we get to the longer cook here in just a few minutes. There is one more thing that you really need to be aware of. So we got 45 seconds left on this. I don't know whether you can see this. Let me see if it gives it to me on the left. Can you see the? Yeah, you can kind of see the steam rising. It is, let me see, overhead, let's see, TMC right. Yeah, there you can see the steam over there. You can see the steam over here rising because it's coming up through there, it's cooking, it's really getting those mushrooms down and getting them almost caramelizing, which is awesome. All right, let's go back here. We're just about done, we're 19 seconds away. And then I'm sure we're going to be adding some other product. Now I've got some water boiling here, because we're going to need some boiling water next, I believe. Remember, I honest to God, I have never made this recipe before, so we're doing this for the first time. I wanted to do it that way because I wanted to show you exactly what kind of results you get if you've never done one of these recipes before. So I want to be just like a beginner who's just bought a Thermomix on this. All right, what's next? All right, we got to cut the remaining mushrooms and throw those in. And I'll just slice up this last one real quick. And this is all going to go in. I'm going to take a guess, but there they go. That's in there, and I bet it's going to say next. 200 grams of my precious Chardonnay. All right, well, it's got to, when it's got to go, it's got to go. Okay, so let's go to show you the controls, and let's tare. Remember, we got to tare. There we go, 0. So we need 200 grams. So there it goes. Oh, man. Man, that's all my wine. I'm actually a Merlot drinker. I prefer reds. But it is what it is. All right, right there. There we go. All right, and as long as I have a glass here, I think I'll just kind of take my afternoon joy as well. What do you think? All right, what's next? 150 grams of, okay, we already added that. All right. Okay, 250 grams of risotto rice. Okay, so here's my risotto rice. I've tared it. Brand new box. I buy risotto rice by the case. I love making risotto. It takes a little skill in a pan, but it's well worth it to learn because this is just some awesome stuff. Okay, so we want 250 grams. 50. All right, there's my 250 grams of risotto rice. And next, without the measuring cup now, we're just going to put it in without the measuring cup now. We're putting that onto the lid because it's going to want to steam. We'll go next, and it's going to be 2 minutes at 100 degrees, so I'm just going to flip that, and it's just going to stir it. So I'll start talking a little bit about what I was going to pass on, but I'll go a little bit more into it. I love cooking. To be honest with you, I'm a former Army officer. I was a helicopter pilot, and then I had a long career flying heavy helicopters all over the world. I've done other things, but I got into cooking, and I actually got mentored and taught by one of the top chefs in the world, one-on-one. Luckily, because he happens to be my wife's uncle. But I just absolutely, it's my true calling. I think, you know, you find something that you really love, and I think a lot of you out there watching this really love cooking. So if you love cooking and you'd like to share that, if you buy a Thermomix, you can actually turn yourself into an independent Thermomix consultant, because they have a fantastic training program. It makes you basically somewhat of an expert right out the gate, and you can share the Thermomix and your love of cooking with your friends, with your neighbors, and other people in any way you choose, whether it's just one-on-one or whether you're doing it like I'm doing it, which is kind of like wide angle, wide range by doing videos. So if you buy a Thermomix, you have to have a Thermomix to become a consultant, but once you have it, you could basically earn it back. There are trips. The top people went to Hawaii this year. They're in Arizona as I'm doing this video. I think they have 500 consultants in the area that went to Arizona this last weekend, as on Thermomix's dime, you know, just to celebrate the advance of this product. And they have those types of things and those incentives all the time. So if you're interested in potentially earning an additional income or even a primary income, and this is especially true for military spouses like myself, because I am a military spouse, it's a golden opportunity. So you can check in with me or whatever, and we can pass on more information to you. All right, we're next. And we need 450 grams of boiling water. I'm hoping that this is actually boiling. This kettle is, yeah, it seems like it. All right, so I'm just going to add, once again, remember to tare. On the top, that's what we're looking at inside. All right, I think that's it. Maybe I have to, oh, no, okay. Now, here comes something special. All right, so some of the things that you can do with the cookie dough is you can make certain different types of pastes. And that means like vegetable stock paste, you can make beef stock paste, you can make ginger paste, you can make garlic paste. There are all these pastes, and here it is. So this is so easy to make. It just takes celery, carrots, and something else, I forget. But anyway, you can make this paste instead of using like vegetable stock bouillon cubes, or vegetable stock from store-bought. This is super cheap to make, super easy to make in the cookie dough, and it is incredibly tasty. So for this particular one, it's going to be one heaping tablespoonful. And when we say heaping, we mean heaping. So that's a heaping tablespoonful. So that's going to go in there. And we're done with that. Everybody that's in some of the cooking experiences, you know, we give a little bottle of some of this vegetable stock that we've made and give it to people to try, and people are absolutely blown away by how good this makes their stuff much better than regular vegetable stock. All right, we need a half teaspoon of sea salt. I've got that here. And I'm going to put that in there. And I think it's going to want some pepper. I knew that. And the way I do that is I just use this, and it's a guess for a quarter teaspoon. It's about a quarter teaspoon. It's freshly ground that way. And next is insert the measuring cup back into the top, put it on, and next. And this is going to be 13 minutes. So rather than having you watch the countdown, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the time to do kind of a cleanup here. And I'll come back when there's about 2 minutes left. All right? So I'll see you in just a minute. And it's basically starting right now. All right, I'll talk to you in just a few. Just a minute left to go, as you can see on the scale or on the control panel there. Just real quickly, one of the great things about using an appliance like this that does all the work for you is that during the cooking time, all these various pots or bowls and things that you've used, your knives, whatever else, you have the golden opportunity to clean them, put them in the dishwasher. And by the way, there's a lot of components of this Thermomix that are dishwasher safe, almost all of them. But you know, it just keeps you so much more clean and easy, and it feels so much better when you've eaten and all you have left is the dishes that you just ate off of. Everything else has been cleaned and put away. It's a fantastic way to keep running your kitchen. It just it's very, very efficient, and makes things just so much better. So, all right, we're down to 5 seconds. We got a little bit more to do here. So let's see what we want to do next. And it says next, I think we have to check the al dente level of our, yep. So we're going to check this a little bit and just make sure that the rice has reached al dente, which means, you know, it's not hard or chunky. That's good. It's really good. Otherwise, what we could do is go back, for example, here, and we could change that to say 1 or 2 minutes. And just for grins and giggles, let's do that. Just because I want to. Let's go down to 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Let's do 1 more minute, and we'll let it go just another minute. How about that? Oops, wait a minute. I don't do there. Oops, wait a minute. I did the wrong thing. Okay, so you press that, take it down to 1 minute, and then go back to the thing and start it up. So we'll go 1 more minute. I can feel just a tiny, tiny, tiny little bite, so it could be in a minute. But the recipe already knew that. It knows that there's a possibility that it might need just a minute or 2 more. And why not? So when you make spaghetti or pasta of any kind, you're always checking for al dente, even though the package says 7 minutes. And a lot of people do the 7 minutes and turn it over, and then when they start eating it, it's like gritty, chewy, whatever. It hasn't completely cooked down to where it is what they call al dente. Another thing while this is cooking is this is an outstanding unit for making various sauces, hollandaise, béarnaise. You can make the mother sauces in here without breaking, meaning that, you know, if you're adding like a hollandaise sauce, if you do it the way it says, it's never going to break with the eggs. It's not going to cook the eggs. It's going to make a perfect sauce. It's awesome. I make hollandaise in here all the time. My wife likes an egg on top with hollandaise sauce on top of an English muffin. All right, now we're good. So let's go insert the measuring cup back into the mixing bowl lid. Then, well, wait a minute. Aren't we supposed to add something? Nope. Okay. Well, as I said, this is the first time I've done this. And now it wants to go another minute. All right, so next, and it's going to do, this time it's 100 degrees centigrade, so, okay. 1 more minute. I'll be right back. All right, we're back to the next now. Let's see what it wants us to do. Okay, now it wants us to add 60 grams of hot water, so let's do that. Oops, wait a minute, I need a tare first. There we go. All right. And see what it says. I think we got to put in unsalted butter, 20 grams. Okay, and then next, remember this this mixed Parmesan and parsley. Wants us to put that back in there. And I believe it wants us to stir it up a little bit. Yep. So it wants us to just kind of stir this all in. So I'm doing that. Let me give you the top view. So looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Now this is supposed to start thickening up, so we'll see. All right. So what's next? So we're going to leave it rest for 2 minutes and see if it does in fact thicken up fully, or we can leave it a little bit more if we have to. We could also add some necessary. We could add some cornstarch, or I don't know if there's flour, whatever, to thicken it up. I'll be right back. All right, well, I'm waiting for this to thicken up just a little bit. The last thing I want to say is that, because this is going to be very near the end of the video, if you're watching on YouTube, if you like the video, whether you plan to buy or if you're just interested or whatever, if you'd like, I'd really appreciate it. I've been on a hiatus on posting on YouTube for most of the pandemic, but I'm going back to at least weekly posts, not just with the Thermomix, but with a lot of other cooking stuff that I do as well, and also product reviews, especially culinary products. So please, if you want, like and subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook or somewhere else, please give it a like. And I will put the link to my Thermomix independent consultant link to Thermomix under the description in YouTube, and it'll be in the comments under Facebook or elsewhere. One other thing that I will do is that I'll also put a link to Cookie Dough so that you can get your 30-day run on Cookie Dough and look at everything there. If there's anything else I can do for you, please contact me. If you're on YouTube, you can go up to the top under About, and you'll find my email there. You can email me there. On Facebook, you can just DM me, meaning direct message through the messaging system, and I will get back with you, I promise, very quickly. Hopefully same day or next day in any case. So that's pretty much it. I think we're just about ready to go ahead and put this in a dish. This particular recipe was made for 4 portions, so it'll feed 4 people. So I think it's been about 2 minutes, and it looks like it's thickened up pretty good. So let's go ahead and pour this and see what it looks like. Here it comes. Oh, it is nice and thick. Here it comes. Look at that. Oh, yeah. My wife's going to be happy tonight when she gets home. Yes, indeed. Whew. I want every last morsel of this. It looks so good. All right, and just because most people do this and they lie, but I don't ever lie. All of my reviews, all of my talks are always with absolute honesty. I will be the guinea pig and mix this up just a little bit. And let me give you just a nice overview. Look, wait a minute. Let me get the overhead. Take a look at that. Just look at that. It is just beautifully nice, thick. It's awesome. All right, so it all comes down to this. Let us see. I hope you enjoyed this whole video. Again, if you leave a comment, if you critique, if you didn't like it, let me know why, so that I can make better videos for you in the future. But here we go. Oh my God, that is so good. I'm really serious. This is really awesome. And those baby bellows. Oh, just fantastic. All right. Well, I'm Frank Trinkle, known as Elf Chef, independent Thermomix consultant, and I've really enjoyed doing this for you, and I hope that you enjoyed yourself. Happy eating, happy cooking, bon appetit. Cheers.